Okay, so here's part 3 of the 1.3 notes. We are now going to do our word problem here. So our nature preserve. So a town has a nature preserve with a rectangular field that measures 600 meters by 400 meters. The town wants to double the area of the field by adding land as shown. We need to find the new dimensions of the field. So they have a picture here. So we have what is called the original field. And we know the original field, the dimensions are 400 meters by 600 meters, okay? But now we want to figure out, okay, what will be the new dimensions of the additional land here, okay, for the new dimensions of the field. So in order to do this, let's figure out area, because we need to know the area, and from there we can find the dimensions of the new dimensions of the field. So let's think about area. What is the formula for area? It's going to be length times width, okay? Now, can we find the area of the original field? Yes, because we have the dimensions. So to find the area of the original field, we are going to do 400 times 600, because that is our length times our width. So when we get that, we get 240,000. Okay. Now they do tell us that the town wants to double, I'm going to underline that, wants to double the area of the original field. So we want to double, what would be double of our area so far? Well, in this case, when we double the area, we have 240,000 times 2. And that will give us 480,000. Okay. So now, from there, we're going to use the formula of area to find our new dimensions. So we know that the area is 480. Okay? So that is basically this entire new field. So the original plus the additional land. Now we need to do length times width, okay? So for our, let's just say the length is going to be the 600 and the width is going to be 400, okay? There we go. Now when we do this, so we already have the 600, but then we add an x to it so we can have this entirely new dimension. So that's going to represent our L. So we have 600 originally, but we're going to add the x to have that new length. Okay, what about the width? Well, remember, we're doing length times width, so once again, we have to multiply. So we already have the 400, but we're going to add on the x to have our new dimension. So we originally have 400, we add the x amount, so that's going to be the additional land, to create our new dimensions. So from here, what we need to do is solve for x, okay? Now, what we're going to do to solve for x is the first thing is we're going to FOIL our 600 plus x times 400 plus x. Okay? So we have 480,000 equals. We do x times x. I'm going to rewrite this in standard form because I think it's a lot easier. Okay, so we have x times x. Then we have plus 600x plus 400x. And then, of course, our plus 240,000. Okay, combine like terms, which that's going to be the 600x and 400x. So I get plus, that's going to be our 1,000, and then plus 240. Now, because we want to solve, right, and we're doing this by factoring, what do we have to set this equation equal to? We have to set it equal to 0 in order to solve. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 480,000 from both sides. So I get 0 equals x squared plus 1,000x minus 240,000. Okay. Okay, so now we get to factor. Lovely, lovely. So we get 0 equals, and we have 2 sets here. Okay. So yes, 240,000, that is a big number. But let's think about it in this way. Let's think about the idea of, let's get all rid of those zeros, the 4 zeros, and just think about 24. What are the numbers that multiply to 24? Well, we have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, we got 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. Okay? Now, we got rid of those zeros, so we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to get rid of our zeros. Okay? So it's like you're adding up to a 10 here. So we're adding up to 10. Okay, which one will give us our 10? So we might think 4 and 6, right? Because that seems like that'll add up to 10. However, remember we have negative 240, and to add up to a positive 10, we would have to have positive 4 and positive 6. So actually that doesn't work. So instead, what we have to use is 2 and 12. To add up to a positive 10, we will have to use a positive 12 and a positive 2. Now, are these just going to be 12 and 2? No, we will need to add 2 zeros to these. So it's really going to be 200, and then we're going to have 12,000. Okay. There we go. So if ever you have zeros, kind of just get rid of them, and it kind of helps out a little bit there. Okay, so we have a positive 12,000, or sorry, not 12,000, but 1,200. So a positive 1,200. There we go. And a negative. So we do 1,200 minus 200, that gives us 1,000. And if we do negative 200 times positive 1,200, that's going to give us 240,000. Okay, now we get to take a set equal to 0 and solve. So we have x minus 200. Okay, solve for both. So we get x equals 200. X equals negative 1,200. Now, are we finished here? No. We actually have to find the new dimensions here, okay? Now, in order to find the new dimensions, we need to figure out, well, which x value are we going to use and add it to the 600 and the 400. Now, would it make sense to use the negative 1,200? No, because we are going to get negative numbers. So we're going to use x equals 200. So for our length, remember we did 600 plus x. And so we're going to plug our 200, which we got for x, into that. So we do 600 plus 200, and that's going to give us 800. And then for our width, we do the same thing. So that was 400 plus x. So we have 400 plus 200, and that gives us 600. Now, don't forget your labeling. So what would be our labeling here? We would have 800 meters and 600 meters. So the new dimensions are going to be 800 and 600. Okay, make sure if you have any questions, contact me. And don't forget to do the homework. See you guys later.